Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Brothers Talk About. My name is James.
And I'm Christopher.
And today we're going to be covering the classic 80s cult classic film, Blade Runner.
This film came out in 1982 and it was directed by the famous Ridley Scott. It stars Harrison Ford in the leading role as Decker, a replicant hunter.
The film is set in a dystopian, futuristic, cyberpunk-esque 2019, as Harrison Ford's Decker, a replicant hunter, is called back to the police force by his captain to track down 4 high-tech replicants, known as the Nexus 6, which are an advanced class of robots similar to humans, but they are the latest model, which are the Nexus 6. They are more high-tech, kind of more just knowledgeable. They're able to use memories that I think that they've lived a longer life, when in actuality they've only been created recently and they have a lifespan of 4 years. So the film kind of gives this weird, almost like a Matrix type quality to it, where it's like is this life real life? And they're like confused. They don't realize that they're living in like this simulation type thing, which for the replicants, it's like a simulation because they're not even real, but they're getting these memories.
It's everyday life for them.
Exactly. They have no clue. But the thing with the replicant hunters is that they're trying to track them down to wipe them out, because they went rogue. Like you see at the beginning of the movie, they said like they went rogue, and now it's Harrison Ford's job to now track all of them down and wipe them out. So overall, we're going to start off with give you guys our pros and the cons, basically the things that we liked, the things that were kind of and things that we just disliked. So want to kick it off maybe with what you liked about the beginning?
Yeah, I will tell you that it looks visually really good.
Agreed.
I think that the art choices of the backgrounds and sets really make this movie pop. I think that it's funny how they depict 2019, how they thought it would be. I'm sure they went extra far out with the design and all, but there was a lot of cool aesthetics to the sets. And Harrison Ford's character is interesting enough where you want to find out what the story is about and what his role is in this whole movie. So it follows his character, who's kind of like a detective, and he's tracking down all these replicants, and he has to go through many different scenarios to figure out who they are and how to find them.
Yeah, like you said, I like the art style. I like that. I've always been a fan of like the cyberpunk look. I think it looks cool. It has like that cool like the LED neon light aesthetic type look, and I just always thought it was cool. But as far as you said with the Harrison Ford portrayal, I've only seen so many Harrison Ford films. I've seen the Indiana Jones franchise, Star Wars franchise, and comparing his acting to that, I don't know where that kind of... No, this is after Star Wars, right? Because it's 82, right?
Yeah.
So, in comparison, honestly, I thought his character was kind of flat. I didn't find his character to be interesting. I thought it was just kind of bland. I mean,
like he could have been anybody, and it would have just... It doesn't feel anything special that it's Harrison Ford. It's just cool to see him in another role.
Yeah, he didn't have that like Harrison Ford charisma like you see in like Indiana Jones or Star Wars. Yeah. But overall, I thought he was like decent. No complaints really about him. Just he could have been more unique. I
like the way he was when he communicates with certain people. It was funny when he's like disguising his voice and trying to find out info when he talked to the weird snake lady. But we'll get into that.
Then we can move on to something else that was kind of cool. I liked the replicant aspect. It's a cool concept. It's a cool idea. I think maybe it could have been done better. Definitely. I know we've watched this is the final cut of the film. So that's the one that we watched.
There's many different versions.
Yeah, there's 3 different versions as far as I know. Is there more?
I think there's 5.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But this one was the most recommended one.
Yeah, so we ended up checking out this version on HBO Max because Chris forgets to cancel his HBO Max subscriptions. So we figured we'd just take advantage of it and kind of go through and go back to see all these different movies that maybe we haven't seen.
There's a lot of good stuff on there.
With this film, it was kind of like I've never seen it before. I've always heard people talk about it.
Yeah,
and
it's very hyped up. It's like a classic in the sci-fi genre.
Yeah,
Blade Runner, Harrison Ford, and they recently made a couple years ago Blade Runner 2049.
That's what kind of put it on my radar. It made me want to watch it, but I just kind of been putting it off at the side.
It just my dad, who's a big sci-fi buff and movie person, and he's never mentioned it. He told me that it wasn't that great. He kind of only watched it once, and I was like, okay. But also, people online. Some people think it's the greatest sci-fi movie of all time, and it's pretty up there in the community. So,
yeah.
Personally, we're gonna get into it, but I thought that it was very underwhelming, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I think that it had a lot of things going for it, but I don't think it delivered as well. But
again, not to be too harsh on it, but now we're gonna start going into the cons / things that we didn't really like about the film.
And there's a lot, because I really don't want to, like I said, I don't want to dog this movie so much because I know it has such a big following. But for me, as a casual moviegoer, watching it for the first time, it just didn't. In the first 20 minutes, I looked at him and we both thought this movie is kind of like a little bit draggy. It hasn't really. It didn't hook us in right away.
It took us almost basically 3 nights.
3 nights. We broke it into 3 nights because we just were getting. We watched it late and it was getting tired and it just wasn't doing it for us. So we finally finished it, and in the middle of the movie, it still didn't do it for me. I was getting interested with how Harrison was going to track these people down, but the other characters' actings were subpar. They weren't really anything special.
No stand-up
Like, it was nothing like Alien, which is a great Ridley Scott movie, and all those characters were so much more developed, and you connected with them, and they were funny, and they suspenseful. This kind of just was, like, bland and underwhelming, and just the music, we both said, we just really hated that one clip of the sound of the music. Well, you'll listen to it right there.
Ready? Here we go. Ready?
Okay. Yeah, it just didn't do it for us. But what do you have to say?
Yeah, so like you said, the performances, nothing really standing out, nothing really intriguing character-wise. The music, like you said, kind of like there's that one note that just kept dragging on. Just like I liked. It looked visually pleasing, but that's kind of about it. There was like the acting was kind of wooden. The characters themselves, I didn't like. The villain. It wasn't really even a villain.
It was so weird at the end.
I didn't like him. The girl character was annoying. The plot with Sebastian, mad annoying. That was like super boring. I was like scrolling on my phone that whole time. Through that, I feel like I missed some conversations. I feel like if you don't pay complete attention to this movie, you're gonna miss something, and that could be super crucial. I know people have said that you have to watch this film many times to understand it. Which honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't like that whole concept. If I don't like, that's not how I am. So I understand if people are like that. But if I don't watch a movie and enjoy it, I'm not one that's like, oh, you gotta watch it 10 times.
It didn't warrant that for me, because I felt like this, like a film. I'll give you an example, such as Christopher Nolan's latest movie, Tenet, was something that I thought was a really well done movie with the visuals and the action scenes, but the plot was mad confusing.
Yeah.
That's a movie, though, that intrigued me enough that I would maybe possibly go back and rewatch it in a year or so from now and give it another shot, whereas this movie was not only confusing and strange, but just boring. It didn't have excitement, it didn't have good action scenes, it was just like, blah.
I feel like the film, it could have had, maybe if you thrown in 1 or 2 more action scenes, maybe something just show maybe him tracking down more, maybe like more detective stuff, maybe trying to actually track down the replicants, maybe have more scenes like you said earlier with the snake lady thing, more scenes like that where he's maybe investigating and then like a big chase scene. That could have maybe made it more entertaining. It's just overall, like you said, just boring.
The rooftop scene in the end was kind of like the only good part, and it was just kind of creepy with the one guy who was like going around.
I didn't find that entertaining.
And the annoying knockoff Harley Quinn lady was
like pre-Harley Quinn.
With all the weird little... There were so many little midget toys walking around. It's
just kind of weird. I don't know.
It just wasn't for me. I kind of was... I was forcing myself to watch it, because I was like, is this film going to pick up at some point? I'm like, I know it's a classic, so now I can say I watched it. It's the past is the past. It's done. I don't feel like I'm going to rewatch it again. Unless maybe I was sitting down with Harrison Ford and the director, and they're like, listen, no, this is the true vision. And I'll be like...
honestly, maybe that would be interesting to see a director's commentary on the movie.
I'm watching a couple of YouTube videos. I kind of Googled it, and I don't know. It's still, like... There's references to it in, like the new Loki show. Somebody compared Mobius to Decker's character in finding versions of Loki. I think, like you said, the replicant concept is cool, and I think it's been explored in other films with, like, clones of people.
It could have been done better.
It just seems like a hit and a miss. I don't know what 2049's like. I don't know if I want to attempt to watch it. Maybe I will one time.
I want to give it a shot to see maybe if it will make my opinion on this movie a little better.
I heard mixed reviews on it, too, but...
I don't know. I hope maybe as time goes on I'll enjoy this movie, but as of right now,
I don't think so.
I don't think I'll ever like this movie.
I give this movie, personally... I want to give it a 2.5, but I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10, just because I'll be courteous to the people that like it, and I know it's probably crap, because some people... I literally was scrolling through comments saying, like, best score, best sci-fi movie of all time, oh my gosh, this movie is a classic, people sleep on this movie, blah, blah, blah. I literally fell asleep almost a couple times on the movie, so... if you want to, let me know what your comments are down below. If you guys liked it, tell me what I missed. Tell me what was great about the movie. Would you give it a shot after hearing this review? What do you think? Has your parents ever seen it? Have your brothers, sisters, your grandma, anybody ever see this movie? Because it's not really widely talked about where I'm from, but
true. I think if I were to give this movie a rating, I'm going to give it a nice, generous 4. I think that 4 out of 10. I think that the film had something going for it. I liked the atmosphere and the look, and I think if done better, this movie could have been good. As it is, I just don't like it. No, I'm not enjoying it, but I'm gonna give it a 4, just because it wasn't completely unwatchable, and I think I've given movies an equal grade about a 4, so I'm gonna give the movie a 4.
I will want to say one more thing. I think if Harrison Ford wasn't in this movie, I don't think anybody would talk about this movie. I think Harrison Ford's star power alone is what makes this movie still relevant and
honestly, yeah.
About it.
Honestly, I think if Harrison Ford wasn't in this movie, I wouldn't even
like if it was an average no-name Joe Schmo.
I probably wouldn't have even given it a second look if it wasn't Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Alrighty, so thanks for watching, and let us know if you guys are going to plan on watching it. Yes. If you're going to give it a shot, be my guest. But I wouldn't, personally. I'd rather go watch frickin' Johnny Test or Barney.
Big Bang Theory. No. No, but yeah, again, we appreciate it if you made it this far into the video. We appreciate it if you drop it a like and subscribe to the channel. And again, let us know what you guys thought of the movie down below in the comments. If you've seen it or if you haven't seen it, let us know what you thought of this review and if you would ever consider watching it, like you said. But thank you again, guys, for watching the video. We appreciate it, and catch you guys in the next one.